The funeral. Okay, everybody, welcome back to episode 3 of The Novelist. So, if we remember correctly, when I left off last, I gave Danny Billy? Whatever the kid's name is, I gave him his wish. Somebody was kind enough to tell me that you can hit tab, which I did not realize, and actually find compromises between some of the things when I find everything. So hopefully let's continue on with that. So, Spaceship Danny, okay. I found one of three. Oh, Tommy, so that is his name, Tommy. So, Blender. Sounds weird. Oh, I was going to say it's her. I can possess her? Oh, it was the lamp. Let's read her thoughts. She knew I loved her. What? Somebody die? Turn the volume up a little bit here. I can hear these things right. Whoops, didn't want to possess that. Wanted to read.
Mom tried to hide it, but I can tell when she's disappointed. I hate that they couldn't come, especially after they tried so hard to make time. Maybe if she'd called before they changed plans, it would have gone smoother. It's impossible not to think about the rough patches Mom and Dad hit without thinking about Dan and me. I should bring that up to him and see what he says. He's mentioned their history before. I'd love to hear his answer when I make the comparison. Can he talk his way out of that one?
They are not having a good relationship. Somewhere over here. Must be through this wall. Nope, not in the bathroom. Into this room? No. Outside? But I can't go outside, can I? Whoop. No, I want to go back in your memories. There's something right out here. Maybe I can look through this window? No? What? Oh, you know what? It must be upstairs. So let's... I bet it's over here. Ah, there we go. The memory is her crying. Okay, then. Let's exit your memory. Ooh, what's this note say? Call Paul first thing tomorrow morning. Any possible way to move it? Is this thing announced yet? Oh, dude, they got an awesome view. This place is the bomb. Either way, oh, there's a note on the table.
Anne, I just got off the phone with Mom. She told me about Grandma Jo. I know we expected it sooner rather than later, but this is hitting me so much harder than when Granddad died last year. Do you remember going to Grandma Jo's house after school on Wednesdays and playing until Mom got off work? How Grandma Jo always had a surprise for us? Even if it was just cookies in the oven, she'd always time it so the whole house would smell like them when we got there. I hope the minister captures those little moments because they don't seem as little now. I wish the circumstances were different, but it will still be good to see you at the funeral. What am I saying? You probably won't even get this until after the funeral. I guess I just needed to write anyway. Love, Linda.
So, Grandma Jo, whoever that lady is, it's her grandma, died. Mark the 21st of this month on your calendars. For one day only, watch the world-famous Fighter 5 as they scream across the sky. Witness death-defying feats of flying in a display unlike anything you've ever seen. Guaranteed to blow you away. Don't miss it.
Vroom, vroom.
Yeah, I assumed that was something that he was going to want. Best sofa fort day. Davey wants to make one at his house. Okay, that's cool. Let's check out what you got going on, little kid.
Is she in heaven?
I'm sure she is, honey.
Okay, so that was him being told. It's got to be up here. Aw, they're both sad. Okay. What's he got to do? Make sure you get up early if I sleep on the couch. Oh. That's interesting. So he's got... Uh-oh.
Lynn, I'm so sorry. Tell me what I can do.
Just be here for me.
Okay. I mean, she's sad that her grandma died. I get it. I get it. Been there. Must be directly upstairs. There we go. Oop.
And as for last weekend, I can't stop wondering what kind of advice Tynan would have had for Act 2. It's still a mess. I tried to work on it, but it was impossible to get anything done with so much going on. Although I guess I did flex a little creativity. I came up with an impressive number of errands to run just to get out of the house.
Okay. He doesn't sound like he's too, so long as it was heard from. Since what? The magazine says there's going to be a ton of planes. Okay, so he obviously wants to go to the planes. So if I hit tab, okay, it tells me what's going on. The magazine says there's going to be a ton of planes. So Linda and Dan, I haven't found whatever their item is yet of their memory in this book.
I
maybe?
walked out to the bluff to remember Grandma Joe and say goodbye. And on the way back, I started thinking about what it really means to have a family, to make that your focus. She seemed to take such joy in being surrounded by her family, providing for them, taking care of them. I hope I never took that for granted. When I got back to the house, a question hit me that I can't get out of my head. What will Tommy think about Dan and me when he gets older? And what if Tommy has kids of his own? I can't even begin to think of myself as a grandmother. I haven't even been a mother for that long, and I'm still feeling my way through what it means to be a good one. At least I'll always have an example. I miss you, Grandma Joe, and I'll never forget you. I promise.
Okay, I mean, it's still extremely sad. What does she want? He's to call and buy a ticket if he's coming to the funeral. Who's he? Is it Dad?
Hey.
Hey,
So, phone? Selecting the phone will choose Linda's resolution for the chapter. Dan and Tommy will be disappointed. However, if you discover Dan or Tommy... Okay, so... We're going to continue playing because I want to find out... Call... Excuse me, sorry about that. Hold on. So... She wants to call somebody. Tommy wants to go to this air show. What does he need now? Paul's happy enough for now. What do I say? They need counseling. There's the forts. So there's got to be something in here.
Wow.
I already read that. Something in here that Dan wants, but it's got to be upstairs in his writing area, I would assume. None of that. What's this? Nope, can't read that. Can't read that. Oh, here we go.
oh no. Joe's funeral's the same day as the signing in Eugene, and Paul says they can't move it. He'll understand if I bail because he knows Linda, but Grovefield is a different story. They won't give a damn why I missed it. They'll just get a memo and put it in a spreadsheet somewhere and write me off just a little bit more. And it's not just the timing. If I do the reading, I've got to get that chapter in shape. It's not even remotely ready for anyone to see it. Can't worry about what Paul says. He's my agent. He's supposed to stroke me. And what about Tommy?
Okay. So what does he want? Is there a way to compromise where Dan misses the funeral? And Linda still goes? I mean, do some serious work on the chapter first. So he wants to do some work on the chapter. Like first? What do you mean by first? What? Airplane? So obviously Tommy wants to do that. Chapter. So I select the chapter. What's it going to do? Okay. Hold on. Chapter call magazine. I don't really see the way to compromise yet. Hold on. Let me go to the options real quick. Voiceover full. Oh, can I just do a short one? Fade off. Okay, let's fade it. Memory subtitles. Mouse sensitivity. There's no controls or anything? I thought that there was a way to compromise. What would be the compromise? Who is she going to call? That's what I don't understand. And until I figure that out, I guess. Let's see what he says. Afford to miss it. You really can't afford to miss it. If he does some work on... Ooh, what's this?
Most of you here knew my grandmother. For those who didn't, I truly wish you had. She was an example for all of us.
Her warmth, her caring, and her smile were impossible to forget. It's still hard for me to believe she's gone. Without her, the world is... ... Crap. Well... I don't quite get what the whole air show thing is. She's got to make a phone call for the funeral. So dinner time is desired.com. You'll be able to find a compromise with one of them in the next chapter. So I've discovered them all. So let's compromise. Let's choose this. And try to see if we can find the compromise in the next chapter. And then this whole part here, I don't quite get yet, because now it's night. I don't know if there's anything else I do except go whisper to them. Like, that I don't get. Oh, here we go. Explore the house, then whisper your choice to Dan. You may also find a compromise with an additional character if you wish. Dan, do some serious work in the chapter first, or Tommy. The magazine says there's going to be a tons of planes. So, in this case, let's go get the chapter as well. Select it, and then see... Because I've already selected the phone. So if I select this, selecting the chapter will choose Dan's compromise for this chapter. You can only select one compromise. Okay. So that's how compromises work. Explained it to Tommy myself one day. Why you should do something about it. Okay, so I just compromised. Taken by the thought of Linda going to the funeral alone, so he bought a ticket and flew to Denver with her. The funeral was hard for Linda, but having Dan there made it easier to bear. They stayed up late at night. The night of the funeral, Linda told Dan stories to Grandma Joe, and they talked about maybe being grandparents themselves one day. So where's the compromise come in? Dan talked Paul into a compromise. He would work on the chapter and send it to Paul as soon as he could. Then Paul would try to bracket into including an excerpt in the quarterly in-store preview. It wouldn't have the same impact as personal appearance, but would still build some awareness. That's a great compromise. When Dan told Tommy they wouldn't be able to go to the show, Tommy had a crying fit and tried to tear up the magazine. Word his parents, he hadn't thrown a fit like that in almost a year. It was the exact kind of thing they had hoped to avoid by spending the summer in such a quiet, peaceful place. Already gave the kid what he wanted with his friend. I understand he wants more, but people died, and people's livelihoods are on the line. And that's how the Kaplans first month at the house in the cliff came to an end. Dan sent a work in progress to his agent, who was glad to see that Dan had gotten back on track. They were both hopeful that Dan could maintain his focus and write a book that delivered on the promise of his work so far. The next day, Dan made good on a promise to take Tommy into the woods and look for arrowheads. Though they barely had the time, Tommy could tell his father was disinterested. But once he found an arrowhead, his spirits improved a bit. Dan waited while Tommy explored but didn't join in, and shortly after Tommy found the lone arrowhead, they returned home. Okay. There's a lot of stuff that just happened. A few nights later, Dan and Linda got a babysitter and went out for a date, but they both felt like they were going through the motions and could barely carry a conversation. They knew their first month at the house hadn't gone well, that their trip was not saving the marriage as they'd hoped. What could have been a pleasant night out was awkward and troubling instead. Well, I guess it was pointless to compromise then when that happens. They still had 2 more months on the coast, and their story was just beginning. Stay tuned for the next episode of The Novelist.